What is up, Bengals fans? It is the moment you've all been waiting for, the Blue Collar Bengals show with Bengalorian and Drew Garrison. Drew,
I already screwed up.
We're screwed up?
I already screwed up I was supposed to make your head bigger, and I made my head bigger.
All right.
So we're off to a good start. You can only go up from here.
All right, ready? Take two. What's up, Bengals fans? This is the Blue Collar Bengals show with Drew Garrison, and I'm Ron. Most of you know me as the Bengalorian, but you're going to get to know me a little bit better here as we go with this show. So what do you got, Drew? What do you want to talk about today?
Well, shouldn't we talk about that disaster in Cleveland? Because I'm going to be completely honest with the folks that are watching this. This show was probably supposed to happen Monday, and I'm an idiot and didn't create our YouTube channel till Sunday night. And turns out it takes 24 hours before you can go live. So I kind of screwed that up. So I think the way that we planned out the schedule is going to be a Monday, Thursday schedule. Monday, we'll talk about the last game, how everything went, be complete idiots probably. And then Thursday, we'll get in here to kind of go over the next game, the following opponent, and we're going to try to make it so we're not interfering with Monday Night Football or Sunday night or a Thursday Night Football, excuse me. So what the hell happened in Cleveland?
Yeah, I think that's the big question, dude. We all came into the season with a fresh-legged Joe Burrow. Unfortunately, he decided to have a little calf issue because nothing can be simple with our $270 million man, right? Love the guy, but I'm tired of the scares. I'm going to be honest. But okay, he gets past it. We go into game time, and we look ready to go. Everything looks beautiful. I'm thinking we're going to go out there and wallop them. We laid an egg, dude. Flat out. We laid an egg. It sucked to watch.
Yeah, so this is normally where on our post-game show, or our game recap show, where we would go over the box score. So as we change the banner to the top of the screen, the Blue Collar Bengals box score breakdown is going to be brought to you by Houday. That's WHODAI.com. And what that is, really quickly, is a all-in-one content hub for podcasts, for game day information. And you can actually get on the site, ask Houday, AI, any questions about the Bengals. It's going to spit the answers back out to you with AI. So there's not much of a box score to break down. No. Joe Burrow threw for 82 yards. Yeah. Not that's a quarter for him.
Yeah.
Sometimes. I think one of the things that bothered me the most about that game was running the ball was working, and we seemed to stop doing it.
Yeah, a little bit. Weather.
So
if you're playing a rain game, and Zach Taylor came out and one of the first things he said was that was one of the hardest rain games he's ever played in. I wonder why you don't lean on your back there, right? I mean, God loved this team, but sometimes you got to call a spade a spade. What's going on? Why don't you think we ran? Why do you think the game plan was to maybe keep throwing it?
Well, see, it's weird because there was no rain in the forecast for this game at all.
Yeah, but it's Cleveland, right? The hell, like Cleveland.
But
got in Cleveland. It's nice.
The Factory of Sadness just had a cloud sitting above the stadium, pouring rain on the game. So I understand that may not have been the game plan.
Sure.
But I also don't understand why running the ball is not in your game plan against Cleveland when they have Myles Garrett, who has torched Joe Burrow. He has sacked Joe Burrow more than he has sacked any other player has sacked Joe Burrow in Joe Burrow's career.
He's a freak.
They've got Zadarius Smith on the outside, and that's what it is. A lot of people need to just understand Myles Garrett is a fucking freak of nature, dude. It's what it is. What it is.
Yeah.
Some guys are just born monsters.
Yeah, dude.
God chose to make me quite the opposite of that. I don't know why, but that's the way things played out.
Yeah.
So even if it wasn't raining, why not try to run the ball? But now that it is raining, you have to adjust. And there was a drive. I don't remember exactly when it was, but Mixon had two big runs. He chewed off like a big one and went off out of bounds on the sideline. He came out and didn't go back in for the rest of the drive.
Yeah.
At 8 minutes or so left in the fourth quarter, that's when that game got to the point where you had to throw every play. Up until that point, it was never there. That 24-3 It's an ass whooping, but it's not as bad as it looked because it didn't get blown open until later. They didn't score that second touchdown there till later. There was
Yeah,
never a point
dude.
in the game where it didn't they shouldn't have been running the ball. So that's my biggest concern with it. When it comes to going into the game, I did not expect it to look good.
Yeah.
Cleveland matched up against the Bengals better than any team in the NFL. The Bengals didn't play their starters in the preseason at all. Burrow was hurt. Things were coming off. I expected it to be bad. I didn't expect it to be that bad, though. That was kind of concerning to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree, dude. I don't know. To not score at all is just astounding to me. And I know we'll bounce back. Like we have a great team, dude. Like look at it. We got a three-headed dragon at wide receiver. Joe Mixon, once again this game proved to us that he's capable of running the ball. And Joe Burrow, dude, he's there. Like I don't know. There's a lot of church bells ringing from other fan bases, alarm bells and all this crap, saying that he signed his contract and he's gonna flop. But that's total crap, man.
No,
He looks good. He
no.
looks good. This he sometimes you throw up a stinker, dude. You just throw up a stinker, and Joey B they like to do it game one, and it's happened last year. It happened this year. Let's bounce back, and I think we can beat the Ravens, which we'll talk about later. But I don't know. What about the defensive side of the ball, dude? I thought there was some promise there on the defensive side. So Deshaun Watson, hate the guy. I think he's a scumbag. I think we all agree on that. But as far as a football player, he should be pretty good. I don't subscribe necessarily to the he sucks and he's washed crowd. I think he hasn't played in a bit, so he's going to need to catch up and get back onto the field. But Deshaun Watson is not a bad quarterback. Nick Chubb, probably the best running back in the NFL, and we held him to 24 points. You know what I mean? In a game that could have got out of control really freaking fast, dude. That could have been a 30-plus point game if the defense just said, you know what, they're not scoring points. Screw it. I'm not going to deal with this. But we had guys out there balling out, man. A couple big hits by Jermaine Pratt. Our DBs were playing well. Our defensive line, I really think is going to be a big piece of this defense this year. What do you think, man?
So when I'm looking at the game, they give up 154 passing yards, and in the box score, it looks like they did well, but Watson left a lot of throws short to open receivers, and
Yeah.
I think that has a lot to do with the weather because there were balls squirting out of Burrow's hand that were just completely uncharacteristic. Watson said after the game that he had to try to grip it so hard it was throwing him off. So there were balls left short for whatever the reason was, but it could have gotten a lot worse. But DJ Turner played his ass off. I think Jermaine Pratt had a good game with the strip. I think that we saw Cheeto took about 58% of the snaps, I think, and he looked like himself. So there's a lot of promise to show there. But at the end of the day, you gave an NFL offense 14 drives. Cleveland possessed the ball 14 times that game.
Yeah.
NFL offenses are going to score 24 points anytime you give them 14 points. I don't care how bad the team is. And Cleveland's not a bad team by any means. So the offense not staying on the field led to the defense getting gassed and 106 rushing yards from Nick Chubb. They kind of held their own with him at the beginning there, and then things kind of dried up on the field. I can't really blame the defense for anything that happened because they were on the field for 14 drives, which is just, it's never going to work.
It's absurd, man. Yeah. And that's why I was super complimentary in my initial breakdown there of them. You know what I mean? Like, I would die after 2 drives, obviously, because regular humans maybe die on the first drive, to be honest. But my pride says I can go out there and swing some fists for at least one. But the fact that they were out there for 14 drives like that and still put the effort in that they did is unbelievable. I mean, it shows the professionalism and the desire to win. So, but I love this defensive line. I said at the beginning of the year I was going to be a D-line guy, and I'm sticking to it. I'm a DB by nature. Played DB back in the day. Played it at different levels, which I won't get into here. But this D-line, I think, is going to be incredible, dude. I really do. Nick Chubb's going to get 100 yards on you. I mean, what are we, right? He's going to get 100 yards.
Yeah, he's
I'm not mad, right? Would it be sweet to go out there swinging and hold Nick Chubb to 55 yards, hell yeah. That dude's going to get 100 yards on you flat out. I don't care what defense you have, right? You could stack the box. He's going to squirt through, and he's going to run like a son of a gun and get 100 yards on you. To hold him in the lower half there is great, man. So what else you got defensively, dude?
I think that you're right. I think the D line is going to be more of a strength to the team than it has been in recent years. Hubbard and Trey Hendrickson have been good. They've been awesome. But do you think that depth? I think it's depth. I think the depth of the defensive line is going to be the difference this year, because I think that Osai was back limited at practice today for the last 2 days. He's going to be back earlier than they initially thought, it looks like.
Yeah.
I think that he's going to be a big piece. I didn't see a ton about Miles Murphy. I didn't see a ton from him in the preseason. I don't know how much he'll contribute. A little concerning first round pick, but that's neither here nor there. But I do think that the defensive line is going to be more of a strength, because I've always been big on having a fresh rotation of defensive linemen. I think that having Osai behind Hendrickson and, being able to bring in somebody behind Hubbard, I think that that's going to be big for Lou's defense. Keeping a fresh rotation of pass rushers has always been big for me.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. That and the athletes we have on the back end, dude. I think the defense is going to be a big strength this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And anytime they get a turnover, somebody's going to say Joe Burrow sucks because his defense got a fucking interception.
Yeah, dude. They can't give that guy a break, dude. But whatever. Like, Bates went out and showed out for Atlanta, dude. What do you have? 2 or 3 interceptions? I think it was 2.
I know he had 2. I don't know if he got anything after that.
I think we're gonna miss him obviously throughout the season, but dude, we got freaking athletes on that back end there, and I really think they're gonna make up for a lot of the stuff that happens. I mean, Watson threw the ball like an idiot. I mean, both quarterbacks sucked in this game. Watson was leaving the ball short. He looked like shit. Burrow looked like an even bigger pile of shit, unfortunately. So I don't know. When we play these quarterbacks that can really sling it, and these other guys that can run out of the pocket, hint, hint, this Sunday, I love to see how these athletes on the back end can keep up. Close distance.
There were things that were concerning, though, because there was a few times where, like, Elijah Moore got behind the defensive backs and the ball's wet, whatever the case is, it throws off. And that is concerning. But there were also times where they did get beat and they showed great recovery speed to get back and make a play on the ball.
Scott hit.
Say that again?
That Nick Scott play when he came across the middle and handled that pass from Watson. There was one play where he absolutely, and he's not even one of the guys that I'm like super athlete, but I agree.
Yeah, that was the play where they had Watson at wide out and he came in kind of like a jet sweep. He got it and he turned and threw. It was like a long developing play. But yeah, Nick Scott initially got burnt bad on that. Yeah. And thankfully was able to recover.
Yep. 100%. I don't know, man. I don't have much else to say about Cleveland. That sucked. I hated that. I've got
that was pretty awful.
Yeah, I got friends that are Cleveland fans in real life, and then I got Twitter friends that are Cleveland fans, and they've been brutal this week.
I watched that game surrounded by Cleveland fans. My best friend is a Cleveland fan. Another one of my really good friends was there. He's a Cleveland fan. I had one other Bengals fan there to back me up. And
yeah,
it was. I knew it was coming. I knew they weren't going to look good. I didn't expect them to win. I just didn't expect them to look incompetent.
Okay, so you thought coming in there was a shot we dropped this one?
I'm not confident going into play Cleveland until proven otherwise. I know that they beat them last year at home, right after Watson had come back and he was kind of getting his legs back. But until proven otherwise, man, Cleveland's just a matchup nightmare. I don't like it. I don't, obviously I don't enjoy it, but
yeah,
this current iteration of the Bengals hasn't shown the ability to beat Cleveland on a consistent basis. So when I saw the schedule, my first thought was like, oh shit, that's a bad matchup. And then my second thought was, okay, we're not going to play starters. We're going to start off slow. But then Burrow's out for a month. I'm like, okay, we're fucked. And I'm kind of glad, though. I was telling my buddies that are Browns fans, I'm glad that it happened now. I'd
Yeah.
rather get this out of the way week 1. We don't see him again until week 17 because these Cleveland losses are just fucking soul crushing. Do you
Dude.
remember Halloween last year?
Yeah.
Terrible. The year before that, when it was the first game after the Browns got rid of Odell Beckham.
Oh yeah.
And Nick Chubb just ran down. I questioned why I was alive that day.
Dude,
I questioned like why I watched football. It was so fucking bad.
Oh yeah, that was 2 years ago. They shut us out, right? Last year we split them.
Yeah, last year was it was a sweep 2 years ago. Yeah.
Brutal, fucking brutal. Hate it.
Yeah.
And I've been like trying to like put it out of my head, like, nah, we're not a bad matchup for them. We'll get them. They've just been lucky. But dude, I think that's it. I just think
they're constructed to beat the Bengals, and they
really are.
Have been executing it.
They have Myles Garrett. They filled out the D line a little bit, and their DBs, dude. Their DBs are good. They're really good. So I don't know.
They've got 3 guys that can man up our big 3 receivers.
Yeah.
They've got Emerson, who's got some of the longest arms I've ever seen in my goddamn life, that played well against T. Higgins. Yep. Denzel Ward is obviously a monster. And then Newsome.
Yeah.
Newsome's good too. So yeah, they have 3 very good corners that can man up our 3 very good receivers. And then it's just our defensive line versus your offensive line. And I don't know how you stop Myles Garrett. I do think that it was a good sign this week because I haven't seen over the Zach Taylor era. No. I haven't seen the Bengals treat Myles Garrett like he is Myles Garrett. And when I say that, I mean, there have been plenty of times where I'm still learning all this camera stuff out. I keep making the wrong guy's head big.
Yeah.
Well, also, while we're on the subject of cameras, I bought a fucking $400 Sony camera that's supposed to open up and spin so I could use it as my webcam. And for some reason, when it's plugged in the computer, it doesn't fucking charge, and it died right before I started this. So I'm on my not as good backup camera. So there will be no free ads on this show. No free ads, but I will tell Sony to get fucked. I kind of forgot what point I was making.
Okay. You were talking Myles Garrett like Myles Garrett. And I agree with you. Yeah, because look at all the PFF grades sucked. I mean, we're not going to get into PFF grades. We don't dive too freaking deep here. Our show is very simple, dude. That's the goal here. Common fan shit. But OBJ, our version, Orlando Brown, he graded out the best there. I mean, people are going to say he got torched. Cleveland fans are going to say he got torched. Kansas City fans are going to say he got torched. However, he handled it, and that's probably his biggest test all year. Who the hell else is he going to block? Watt from Pittsburgh, but Myles Garrett. I mean, that guy Myles Garrett was built in a lab, dude. Like, if you're a Bengals fan and you can't admit that Myles Garrett is unbelievable, then you need to pack your fucking bags because you're crazy. But Orlando did what he could, man. Even though Myles Garrett was haying the shit out of our line, he did what he could, man.
Myles Garrett once wrecked a Porsche, and I think his body did more damage to the Porsche than the accident did. Right. But the point I was making before I went on my anti-Sony rant because of my shitty camera quality, I was talking about they finally treated him like Myles Garrett. I saw them send more chips, more tight end help. There was a lot of times over the first few years of Zach being here that they just put him one-on-one with Jonah or whoever was out there, Bobby Hart's of the world, and they'd let him go. So I am encouraged that they at least identified the problem, said, hey, there's an alien out there. Let's send somebody else to help. Yeah. So that was good. But there was just nothing on that offense worked. So it's hard for me to complain about guy A, B, C, or D when I look at the offense and nobody was any good. The best player on offense that day was Joe Mixon, and they just didn't use him.
Yeah, everybody kind of played uncharacteristically, especially at the skill position. I mean, I hate to say it, but Joey B was just throwing duck. Not fun, but I don't know. You got anything else?
He cut his hair, though. We're good.
Yeah, he cut his fucking hair.
They asked him, they said, why'd you cut your hair? He said, well, when you have a game like that on Sunday, you have to. I'm like, well,
yeah, dude.
Yeah, makes sense. But I did put out a tweet today or an X post or whatever the hell it's called now. I'm calling it Twitter and tweets forever, by the way.
Yeah, me too.
But I did put out there that we need to stop talking about the Cleveland game. We need to move on. I said that this morning, and then we just did like a 20-minute segment on it. But I'm a
Part of
hypocrite.
part of the show.
This this is a very dumb. This is going to be a very dumb show. It's just kind of the way that it's going to play out.
Yeah.
But other news that came out after the ass whooping up north was the Bengals cutting La'el Collins, and I was a little bit confused by that at first because I thought that he was progressing well from his ACL injury. I thought that he was trending to come back pretty quickly after the 4-week PUP window, and then they just cut him. What did you take from that?
I don't know, man. Former Pro Bowler, started 50 games for us last year before he blew his knee. I liked the depth. I mean, I was very, very comfortable with him sitting there, healing, getting better, coming back as a depth piece, or maybe competing to start. Right? I mean, if something happened, we probably had the best backup tackle in the NFL sitting there. And then they cut him. I mean, I've seen a plethora of reasons. It's what is it, 7 point some change we save. Maybe that goes towards a Higgins franchise tag. Oh my God, I hope we don't tag him, but I think we will. Maybe that goes towards a Higgins franchise tag. Maybe that goes towards bringing in another guy. What do you think?
I don't know who's out there that they could bring in that they would have to clear that much money for this year, but Deontay Smith is now the
Yeah,
backup, the swing tackle.
yeah,
Jackson Carman was inactive on Sunday, so it's clearly it's going to be Deontay Smith as the swing tackle.
yeah.
The only reason I can think, and our buddy Joe Goodberry did a breakdown of it on Twitter, of the 6 million and some change that they saved this year combined with the 7 million that they save next year from cutting him, they can roll the 6 million over and then have it next year, and it covers 56% of what the expected franchise tag for T. Higgins would be. And
Yeah.
that can kind of parlay into our next segment anyway. And I think that that's part of the reason, because I don't think that there's going to be a long-term deal reached with T. Higgins. I think that they're going to tag him and try their absolute best, but I have seen zero things that give me confidence in that happening up to this point now that the season started.
Yeah, yeah. To close out on Collins, he will be sorely missed. That was a fun little era of new body card in town. Sucks to see him go. Hope he heals up. Wish him well. T. Higgins, I'm gonna be honest, dude. I am so anxious over any kind of Higgins deal, and he talked offline a bit here. The tag's coming, folks. That tag is there. It's coming, man. Mulligetta or whatever doesn't like to deal in season. So the contract talks are probably going to stop, and we are going to have to wait till the off season to sit here and panic in real time as they attempt to work a deal with him and eventually probably tag him.
I don't like being this guy. It's not what I want to happen. It is going to make me very sad if it does happen. But I think that the more realistic option with T. Higgins that we see right now is that he is tagged and there's no long-term deal. Now, how the team will handle that, I don't know, because if I am Duke Tobin, Katie Blackburn in the front office, and I have this guy tagged, and I know for a fact that I cannot bring him back on a long-term deal, whether it's because Mulligetta and the guarantees don't play out, whether it's a combination of that and the Bengals not wanting to guarantee money after the first year of the deal because they just now broke that mold with the Joe Burrow contract.
Yeah.
Whatever the reason is, I don't think they're going to get a long-term deal done. So what I would do is I would tag him and I would trade him for every bit that I could get out of whoever will give him the money. Some dumbass new owner that's trying to make a splash or something like that. That drunk guy down in Washington that was on ESPN trying to shake Joe Buck's hand or whatever the case is. Something like that, because you can't lose that guy for nothing. They tagged AJ Green. He played. They lost him for nothing. You get a comp pick, whatever. You can get too much out of T. Higgins. I hope and pray to whatever religious figure that you people watching may worship or whatever the fuck it's called. You can tell I'm not very religious. But I pray and hope that they work out a deal and he's here for the long haul. I just do not have confidence in it right now. So the the path that I would take would be the tag and the trade and get whatever you can out of him.
Yeah, I agree. I don't want to. I want to make it very clear before you and I get drug and torched all over the X Twitter app.
Yeah,
Neither of us want T. Higgins traded, but
absolutely not.
dude, push come to shove, if it's another situation where no deal happens, he walks and just goes and signs with whatever team picks him up, Atlanta, Bates, right? I mean, I have
Yeah,
PTSD over this shit. To not get anything in return for a one on many teams in the NFL, dude, my feelings would be hurt.
it's just you can't do it, right? Because everybody wants to talk about the Bengals window. Everybody
Yeah.
wants to talk about this is the last year for the Bengals window or whatever the case may be. And I understand it. You've got all the talent. You've got it all young. You've got it all in the building. It's all there. There's no reason that this team should not win a Super Bowl. There's really not. But at the same time, your window, if it's closing because T. Higgins isn't signing a long-term deal, then why do you not take T. Higgins, tag him, and turn him into every possible asset that you can to try to extend that window and not just wait for the third round comp pick or whatever comes with it?
Yeah. It's we can do it. I mean, I know we can. I think Spot Track pegs Higgins like market value at 22.6 million annually, and then Chase is like right above that at like, I don't know, 25 annually, 24.5 annually, or whatever. I think it's eventually doable. You just have to make it work contractually. Um,
It's all
money,
about guarantees.
yeah, money sucks, dude. Money sucks in this business. It just really does. And I agree with you. If push comes to shove, I don't know who needs wide receivers. How many first round picks do the Bears have? Right? I mean, like, you're gonna get a haul for him, dude. You're gonna get a haul.
Yeah. And look at it this way, because I understand the contract language of guarantees is being very important to players these days. I completely get that. But look at the Bengals' entire history. They're very loyal. They're overly loyal to players sometimes. They pay out damn near all of their contracts as they're written, whether the guarantees are there or not anyway.
Andy Dalton was the highest paid quarterback in the NFL at one point.
Yeah. And they've never had a problem paying quarterbacks. But
Yeah.
Joe Mixon is the first contract restructure the Bengals have ever done.
Crazy.
Ever.
Crazy.
They've restructured Deshaun Watson's contract like twice in Cleveland. He's been there a year and a half.
Yeah.
So there's all these teams that do. The Bengals pay their guys. The money that they're signing you to a deal for, you're going to get. But for whatever reason, I mean, I understand the reasoning because these signing bonuses and these guarantees and all that. The Bengals have cut guys before the end of their contract and they didn't get all the money. So I get it. But at the end of the day, the Bengals are a team that's going to pay you the money. But when you have an agent like David Mulligetta, he wants that shit pen to paper, put it in escrow. It's guaranteed. You'll pay it out on whatever schedule it is. And I can't advocate against a player getting absolutely every dollar he can get because T. Higgins could go out there Sunday and suffer an injury that he never bounces back from. And he's got a family to take care of. He's worked his whole life to get this. So I can't give a guy shit for wanting to get all of his money.
Yep.
But at the same time, it's like, man, you couldn't take like a few dollars less guaranteed to keep this thing together and be special for the next 5 years after how good these first 3 have been and hopefully the 4th is.
I'll start a GoFundMe right now. I'll tell you what.
Is that legal?
I want them to pay him yesterday, bro. I really wanted those deals to be announced at the same time, but they freaking weren't. The money's going to go.
Starting. I think that what the plan is here, and I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
No.
I'm going to start a fat guy OnlyFans. All right.
Oh, yeah.
All for T. Higgins' contract, but I'm going to do it in reverse. I'm going to start naked, and people are going to pay me to get dressed. And all proceeds will go to the T. Higgins contract extension fund. I will post receipts and whatever.
Yeah.
So, or I'll start a subscription service where I send somebody a picture of my hairy ass every month until they pay me to stop.
Oh, I'm in. Yeah. I'm not going to film you or anything because I think
I get that.
Avoid seeing your hairy ass in person. But
Valid.
if it keeps T. Higgins in Cincinnati, I will sell feet picks.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you got to do what you got to do, right? I got to see number 5 and head tapping people for the next 5 years, picking balls off their helmet. It is what it is. We got to do what we got to do.
Jake, I'm looking at comments here. Jake here says if Chase Claypool is worth 32, then T. Higgins is worth. You can stuff that in a bag and take that all the way to the bank. Absolutely.
Was Chase Claypool even active last week?
I don't even know because that guy's so irrelevant to me now that he's not a Steeler. I hated that guy when he was here, but I mean I concur with that statement. So I don't know.
We've got another one from Doug Rockhold.
Yeah.
He says T will get signed. They will let Boyd go in the offseason and Mixon. I do think that it's the last year for Tyler Boyd and Joe Mixon at the end of this year. Tyler Boyd's contract is up.
Yeah.
Mixon, they can get out of his contract after this year. So I do think that it'll be the last year for both of them. Don't like it for either one of them. Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon came in when things were bad, when we were shit. They've held things down. They've been glue guys that keep things together as we've gotten good. But I think the reality of the business is going to set in at that point.
Yeah, I was talking to Joe Goodberry earlier today, and I told him I wasn't going to throw conspiracy theories out there into the wind. But with these goofy wide receiver contracts looming like this, I've been seeing a lot of Andre Yoshivash on the Bengals social media channel. I know,
they have been pushing him.
I know the fans like him, but I have this theory that they're like, hey, dude, we got to show this guy because he's going to be playing football next season. So that's my conspiracy is that the Bengals social media team is featuring him because on.
Yeah, I think that's probably right.
Yeah.
We got another comment here. He was active and was torn apart by national media for sleepwalking on the field and is likely a healthy scratch this week per reports. Yikes.
That's great. That's beautiful. I hate that guy. So good.
We got Bushido Viking, the Yoshi conspiracy. So do you have any tinfoil to wrap around your head at the current moment?
I don't know, but I will gladly tweet out hashtag Yoshi conspiracy. I like that guy too.
He's going full Alex Jones on us, folks.
I am. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I could go on an Alex Jones rant right now, but I'll save that for our political careers. So we'll see. One thing I got to say about Yoshi is I'm pretty tired of the Bengals drafting like the most handsome men on the planet. It's getting old.
You know what Yoshi looks like to me?
Mario Lopez.
I don't know who that is, but people aren't going to like this, but he looks to me like Jackson Mahomes if he wasn't an asshole.
Oh God, yeah, you're gonna stir up the people.
But he looks like the nicer version, you know. He's always smiling. He's not assaulting people at bars or anything like that. But yeah, I think that he's going to be good. I just don't know how many opportunities he gets this year. And if he's your T. Higgins replacement for next season, I think he's going to need to see the field a little bit more.
Yeah, you got Charlie Jones in there too. I see that in the comment too from Doug there. So you got Charlie Jones, you got Yoshi Voss. You've got guys that can play wide receiver. It's just a matter of getting them on the field. So
we got. I hate to break it to you, but our chat has been infiltrated by a Browns fan.
Oh,
This is my boy Chad Penrod. He said the Steelers got the 33rd pick for Claypool, maybe the biggest steal ever. They took Joey Porter Jr. with that pick, and that is absolutely true.
Yeah, is that he put some comment about some made up player in there, and I was like, what the hell is this dude talking about?
He was fucking with me on that. I'm not sure if he knew I could see his name or not at that point. He was giving me shit. And then we got he does not look like Jackson. Okay, sorry, Doug. I seen it maybe a little bit. I said if he wasn't an asshole.
You're canceled, bro. You're canceled. Hey,
if that's what does it, I can't believe it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah. You and I, it's a wonder you and I aren't canceled yet. But hey, we talked. Collins leaving. Collins brings some money to the table. T. Higgins has a contract that's going to remove money from the table. How about we talk about the massive $275 million chunk that just left our table? What do you think of that? About damn time.
It might sound crazy for me to say this after the absolute stinker that he put on the field last
Yeah,
week, but he's underpaid.
I think he is too. I think a lot of people sat there, a lot of ops, as our boy Zim would say, are sitting there saying, "Oh, $275 million man stunk it up." But I saw some guys like Andre Beretta breaking down the deal and kind of explaining how it's kind of team friendly. So I mean, it's 5 years, 275 million. He got a whopping $40 million signing bonus, which I learned last year just hits your bank account.
Boop.
Just
Yeah.
hits it. Yeah. You imagine that? $40 million just sitting in your fucking bank account.
I
200,
get paid.
219 million of that deal is guaranteed. Hell yeah, man. Guaranteed at signing was 146,510. He'll be a free agent in 2030 for when we sign him back after he brings us 2 Super Bowls. What do you think, man?
There is not a dollar amount that the NFL salary cap would allow a team to spend that pays Joe Burrow what he has been worth to this franchise. And somebody's probably going to say, I got his meat in my mouth or something like that. But the reality of the situation is, I've been watching this team since I was 10 years old. I'm
Yeah.
31 now. 31, not 50, like all you assholes on Twitter were saying to me last week. I was getting shredded. This guy looks like he's 50. He's got bags under his eyes. Yeah, I'm fucking tired. All right. I got a 2-year-old that doesn't sleep right now.
We got
But
kids. Okay. Oh, no free ads. Let me cover that up.
yeah. Don't show that. Actually, speaking of my kid, my fiance, he got the Bengals their first playoff win in Drew's life. Pay that man whatever he wants. And she is absolutely correct, because that woman would have had to live with me if we went and froze our asses off at the Raiders playoff game and we didn't win. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so there's not a dollar amount to pay that man for what he's been worth to this franchise just in the 3 years that he's been here. It's hope. It's change from the organization.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's be honest, they got a stadium deal probably so they could pay him. They started sponsoring their gates so they could pay him. And no free ads, but I will give a free ad to Skyline Chili because I love Skyline Chili. And actually, sitting here are my two most recent cups that I picked up yesterday. I got the Mike Hilton and the Jamar Chase. So I will give a free ad to Skyline. But Skyline, if you do see this, you need to strike a deal with the Bengals to call the bathroom the Skyline Shitters.
That's great. That's exactly what they want people. We already get shit for the way it looks. That's exactly what they want people to think
you
of.
just feed into it. You just roll into it. That's why I call myself fat on the internet. That way, when everybody else says it, it's just like, whatever. I already told you. I already knew that. But so the point, this is what's going to happen. If you're going to watch this show on a consistent basis, we're going to make serious points, and then just some dumb shit is going to come straight out of left field.
Eventually we'll get to you know.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Jake makes a good point. It is not a free ad. We are Skyline partners. You and I are each Skyline partners. So that is very true.
That's true. Absolutely. I have a letter that says so. Yeah. So,
yeah,
but
yeah, I do too.
There's not a dollar amount that I would have not paid this guy. I mean,
no,
20.
It could have said
this year. What is it? Base salary of $1 million, signing 13. I'm looking at the contract right now. I'm not going to pretend I'm smart enough to fully understand it, because I'm not. I can barely balance my checkbook here at home. So I just see a bunch of fucking numbers here that are more than I'll ever make in my lifetime. But it's kind of back ended here. 2029, $48 million, a lot. So I don't know, man. I think that the way it's structured, it leaves some breathing room to sign guys like T. So,
well, the way that the contract's structured right now does, but the cap hits do creep up a little bit. But
yeah,
I'm not a cap expert by any means either. When
no.
something happens and I need to know what's going on with the salary cap, I get on Twitter, I go look at Joe Goodberry's page, and I go look at Andre Perotta's page. Those are my two guys where if I want to understand something about the salary cap, I go there.
Which but I just told them I'm on the cap hits now. Like this year, 19, next year, 29, then 46, 48. So maybe not as much as I was preaching there, but go ahead.
But see, the thing about that is those cap hits can mean nothing.
Yeah.
Because prior to this season, Deshaun Watson had, I think, a $45 million cap hit.
Creep.
With the stroke of a pen, Cleveland restructured that and moved it into a signing bonus, and it fell
Yeah.
off of their cap. So if the Bengals are going to play this cash over cap game like the rest of the league is, and they're truly evolving in how they handle their contracts, they can restructure that contract as soon as the cap hits get big, give them a bonus, knock it off the cap, and have more room to work with. It's just a matter of how modern are their Bengals going to be with how they handle contracts.
Yeah. I and I think they've proven they're willing to change. So
Yeah, and this is a very good comment from Doug Rockhold. He also thinks the granddaughters are so good for this team, and I think that it is very, very hard to state how important they have been, especially Elizabeth Blackburn. I
yeah,
don't think that Elizabeth Blackburn she's gotten some, but I don't know if she's gotten nearly as much credit for things that she's done, like the game day experience, making the stadium better, the social media engagement, the growth, and everything that has happened. So that is a very good point.
I agree. I agree. And I know these cap hits look big, but kind of what I was alluding to earlier, Jake put in there. All the cap hits are likely below 20% of the team. So I mean, it's good. I think it's a good deal. Again, I would have given him the key to the city and told him he can park his ass, sleep, shit, piss anywhere he wants because he's king of Cincinnati as far as I'm concerned. But I am just happy the man is here long term and vocalizes in not staff meetings, sorry, media meetings when he talks to the press. There we go. That he wants to be here forever. Can't beat that.
Yeah.
You can't beat it. You know what I mean? He doesn't.
Yeah, and he's it's in his DNA, man.
Yep.
He's an Ohio fuck. Shout out to the boy Pat McAfee who kind of coined that phrase. He's an Ohio guy, and he said in the interview after the contract that he wanted to come here when it was time to get drafted. Maybe he's just saying that because that's where he ended up. I don't know, but I believe it because it's in his DNA. It's in his it's he, and that's why I don't want to go off on this tangent, and I won't. I'm just going to make the point quick. That's why there's the Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow comparison, and I say people need to quit doing that because the fact of the matter is each guy is perfect for the franchise that he went to.
I agree. I totally agree. We couldn't have asked for a better pick. I mean, it sucks we were picking number one, but I'm glad Joe Burrow's our quarterback. What's that comment say?
So it says it's Bushido Viking again. I also wonder how much money Burrow has brought to the franchise as well, because I know a lot of people became fans just because of him, and that's true. There's a lot of people that came from like LSU because you got the Jamar Chase Joe Burrow connection, and they've kind of joined the fan base and stuff like that. So that's very true. I don't think, he's brought them far more than the $219 million that he's guaranteed to make. I know that.
Yeah, he's brought us wins, but he's also turned this city into a worldwide recognizable place. I mean, we got freaking Joe Exotic, this fake Tiger King, writing him letters from jail. Did you see this?
Yeah.
I mean, the man's all over the place. So I mean, he's a star. I'm glad he's here for many years to come. I'm pumped. So, what do you think about the game up, dude?
So, I'm excited to get back to Paycor, man. It's been too long. I'm excited to get out there and man, why do I keep making you big when I'm trying to make a damn point, Ron? Anyway, I'm excited to get back to Paycor. I'm excited to get to the tailgate lots. I'm excited to have people hold my phone so I can say dumb shit into it and put it on Twitter. I'm excited for all of it. And shout out to First Star Logistics for sending us to the game. We'll be in their suite. I'm going to eat far too much food.
Yeah.
And it's going to be great. And we're going to beat the hell out of Baltimore.
Yeah.
I like to pick my hatred for teams based on how their fans act to me on Twitter.
Yeah.
And Ravens fans are some of the fucking worst. It's all shitty Lamar Jackson edits for the profile picture. And they're all like, no rings, bro. And they're all fucking 14 because the self-respecting Ravens fans, I don't even think are on Twitter. It's all 14-year-old kids that became fans with Lamar Jackson. And they can't wait to tell us what he did 5 years ago. And now the excuses are already flowing because Linderbaum's hurt, Ronnie Stanley's hurt, Marlon Humphrey's hurt, Marcus Williams is hurt. So the Bengals can only beat the backups. That thing's already starting to happen. But let's be honest here. The Bengals can only play who is put in front of them. And the
Yeah.
fact that your team is always beat to shit, and when those rankings came out, they were ranked to have one of the worst training staffs in the entire NFL. That's
Yeah.
not just injury luck after so long. It's organizational failure. So kiss my ass with all that Bengals can't only beat backup shit. What do
One,
you think's going to happen Sunday?
one.
See, now I'm getting mad.
Good. I want the fire. So, man, but 1+1 = 2, man. If you're last year, you're beat to shit, and we beat you in the playoffs. And this year, all of a sudden, I'm looking at this right here. Mark Andrews, questionable. Marlon Humphrey, questionable. Dobbins, obviously out. God rest him. I like that guy. It sucks he's injured. Marcus Williams out. Stanley out. Linderbaum, questionable. And then a bunch of guys I don't care about. But yeah, dude, if you're beat up year after year, that's a personal problem. I am looking forward to this game. Again, also, shout out First Star Logistics. Thanks for hosting Drew and I. We love you guys. We really appreciate the partnership you guys do with us. We're pumped to get up there and eat like the fat guys we are. But when it gets to the game, I am not scared of Lamar Jackson. I'm not.
No.
I think Lamar Jackson is a better quarterback than our fan base likes to give him credit for, because the Raven fans are annoying and we want to beat him. They're a divisional rival now. But I also think that the athleticism that we added to this defense in the offseason, and the fact that both of our stalwart linebackers are comfortable with their deals and ready to just play, plus this defensive line who I keep, massaging here as the next coming of friggin' Jesus Christ defensive line, is ready to play. I don't think he's really going to get that many ground yards on us. Now, I might eat shit. On Sunday evening if he does, and I gladly will, because I was running my mouth about this Browns game that we're not talking about anymore. But I think we're going to contain them, dude. And I don't respect their wide receivers either. I don't care about any of their wide receivers, dude. Like OBJ, I respect them. However, I don't think he's going to tear us up. I really don't.
No, and we've got a prediction from a Cleveland fan. Bengals 30, Ravens 14, Lamar is done.
Let's go.
Lamar Jackson looked bad against a bad Houston Texans team.
Yeah.
The key to Lamar Jackson is keeping him contained and not letting him run all over you and forcing him to throw outside of the numbers. When it comes to throwing outside of the numbers, he sucks. He can throw a good deep ball, but when it comes to that long throw across the field to the outside of the numbers, he is not good. The Bengals have constructed their defense for this guy. Yeah. And if you look at what I think is going to happen, I think Lou is going to throw a lot of things out there to try to confuse him. I think you're going to see several people spying him.
Yeah.
I think that you'll see Mike Hilton spy him at times. I think that you'll see Dax come up and spy him at times. I think that this could be a game where they play some one linebacker, 3 safety looks and pull a safety up to spy him. I think that Lou is really going to cook up for that. Yeah. So if they can contain him and keep him from running all over us, I do not think Lamar Jackson's arm is going to beat the Bengals. It's just beat the Bengals defense. Now, the offense has to be leaps and bounds better than what we saw last week. They can't just show gradual improvement. They're going to have to be damn near night and day to beat anybody in the NFL. But defensively speaking, if they can not let Lamar Jackson run for 85, 100 yards and a touchdown, I think that it's going to be in a position where the offense can win the game.
I agree. And Jake in the comments he's got it figured out. Just like you said, Lou's got Lamar figured out. And Lamar outside the numbers is not anything to write home about. I don't respect the Ravens. I don't. I got this guy behind me. This is a cutout of our boy. I'm wearing his jersey.
He owns their soul.
I think Ravens fans have some PTSD from what he did here in this cutout. This is him running the ball back, just absolutely snatching hope from those losers. As we advanced and beat them. So I think he's going to have a good game, and I think our defense might eat, bro. And you're right. This offense cannot just gradually improve. They need to flip a switch Sunday. They need to flip a switch Sunday. Otherwise, we could get into some deep water and eat shit on everything we're talking right now, running our mouths.
I set out to piss off as many Ravens fans as I could last year.
Yeah, it's fun.
And I was very upset because we should have beat them on that Sunday night game we lost when Zach Taylor decided to run a Kroger brand Philly special and do a shovel pass to our fifth best wide receiver at the 2 yard line. There was a lot of stuff that really pissed me off. But man, I'm telling you, I love the bookmark feature on Twitter this week because they say some of the craziest shit. And I love to
Yeah,
bookmark it because I'll spend the entire when I'm at the game, I like to hang out outside of the stadium for about an hour afterwards, let the traffic die down, talk to people. I will
yeah,
spend that whole hour just going through bookmarks and talking shit.
yeah.
And if something happens and we lose, I'll spend that whole hour just unbookmarking shit because that's how the game goes.
There's a couple guys on Twitter I talk to uh, that are all right. I go back and forth with them, but and when it all boils down, it's all right. But you got the Jimmy Seafood Gremlins who like to come out of the woodwork and just say all kinds of crazy shit. Um,
This is a good point that Chad makes, and Jake kind of followed
yeah,
up on it. I think that Zay Flowers is a stud, and I think that he could be a problem. It's just
I don't.
how well Lamar's able to get him the ball.
That's why. That's why I don't think he's going to be as big of a problem as we think. So as we think, I know Lamar can play ball and he can pass, but I don't know, man. I think if Zay went to another team, he'd have a better career. But I'd love, just as Mark Fetter said, I'd love if we would come out and get off to a fast start. I like starting with the ball. I like violence of action. I want to go down the field, score, and let Baltimore know that this is our house, and they need to start fucking warming up the bus on the first drive. I want to play smash mouth football.
That's one of my favorite videos of all time that I ever recorded and posted on Twitter or X. Was I stayed at the after the playoff game last year. I can't remember what that hotel is. Is it the Radisson, the big circle one right by the bridge
That's
across
a
the river?
right, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. It was in Covington, and I happened to make it out to the balcony of my hotel room as the Ravens buses were headed down across the bridge, and
yeah,
it was just so satisfying to just record it and talk shit behind it.
yeah.
So
Oh,
hopefully
yeah.
the buses are warmed up. It was the Radisson per
Yeah.
the woman of the house.
Well, I want to smoke, dude. I don't want to just win. I want to win. I want Joe Burrow to throw for 400 yards. I want him to play angry. I want the wide receiver to be chippy. I don't want anybody to get hurt. Obviously, I want it to be chippy. I want it to be a football game that both teams walk away from winning and being victorious and celebrating, and the Ravens going home with the tail between their legs, embarrassed. That's what I want for this game.
1000%. And my good Twitter buddy Stan Frank says my hour after the game is going to be spent missing that field goal attempt. So I will be on the field after the game.
That's true.
You'll be down there with me. This is me formally asking you, will you be my holder?
Yeah. I will. Yeah, these I
Okay, I'm
got.
gonna have to sign something that says that you can't sue me if I break a hand or anything. But I'm going to be there, and Stan, I'm not going to miss the field goal. I thought we were kind of like, having a better relationship after I publicly came out and supported the Roses after trashing them. But I, I kicked a field goal last year. It was December. I had 3 layers of pants on. I was wearing boots. All right, it's going to be different this time. I'm putting that sumbitch through the uprights.
I agree.
And Jake makes a good point here. He says, I'd like to run. We saw some success with Mixon, and we just stopped for whatever reason. I had to bounce around because I had to do this dumbass camera thing one more time, piss off Sony. But yeah, he Mixon did look good, and I would like to run the ball as well.
I agree. Yeah.
Um,
If
and
we
then we
if we
go
can
ahead.
stop Flowers and Mark Andrews doesn't have a game, I don't see a path to victory for. There we go, Mark. There we go. All right, Andrews. Whose comment is that? Is that Chad?
So yeah,
Yeah.
so Chad said Zay Flowers and Andrews obviously, but with
Right.
JK, no one else scares me on that team. The rest of AFC North has been built to stop Lamar from running the ball, and he can't throw. And I think that that's exactly true. I think the rest of the teams in the AFC North saw his historic season that they're clinging on to from 5 years ago, and they constructed their defenses to stop him. And I think that it's going to start working.
I agree. I think the defense is going to show up and do the Lou mad scientist stuff they always do, and I predict that the offense is going to have a redemption game, just like Cincy Jake is saying here in the comments. And I think we win, and I want us to win by multiple touchdowns. So
Yeah, I want it to be a certain victory. So that's let's do before we get out of here. Let's do score predictions. All right. And I appreciate all the comments. I appreciate the Browns fan hanging out and supporting and being nice to us.
Yeah.
We don't get a lot of that on the internet these days. But before we close this thing out, score predictions. I will let you go first.
30, let's go 31-14 Bengals. I think we go out there. Redemption game. I might light this. I have not lit this because I want to like keep it forever. But St. Joseph Burrow, I really need him to pull whatever Holy Spirit he can pull from the divine and come back and smack these guys in the mouth and have a record game. Because if memory serves me right, he's whooped on them boys in the past. So let's do that again. I'm going 31-14. The Ravens are going to score some. It's going to be some garbage time crap, and we're going to embarrass them just like the City of North embarrassed us last week.
I'm thrown by this. Is that the Joe Burrow Jesus candle?
Yeah. I don't remember the guy. I'll look through my messages. But this guy messaged me and he's like, "Hey, dude, you want one of these?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely. I do want one of those."
Yeah.
The St. Joseph Burrow candle. My wife hates it. She's Catholic, so that's why it's
I was
with the helmets. But
I was wondering, do super religious people hate that?
I think probably. But I mean, I'm Catholic, but if I'm going to pray to somebody, it's going to be St. Joseph Burrow because on Sundays, Paycor is my church.
I want to burn one of those at my wedding in February.
Oh, I will mail you this. No, I'll drive it to your house.
Yeah, you don't live that far. I'll just come pick it up.
I don't know why. We get beers. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I will drive this to your house, and you can have just one singular circle table with that candle on it that says "Do
yes."
Not." Boom. What's your prediction?
I just got overruled in the live chat. I thought for sure she'd be down for that. Actually,
Victoria.
That's ouch.
We'll talk. Ugh. We'll talk, Victoria.
Brutal.
We'll talk offline. It'll be beautiful. There'll be flowers. We can have like a photo of him next to the candle. It'll be great. Okay.
She hit you with the Jersey store. Ron, stop.
Oh, she added the link to the candle. Okay. All right. Let's go.
Dude, this woman is an internet detective. I say something, she's like, "Oh, well, they posted on Facebook in 2013." I'm like, "Okay." Anyway, back to the prediction.
Give your prediction.
This is going to happen a lot if you guys become consistent viewers of this train wreck that we're running here.
Subscribe.
I'm going 31-17.
Okay.
Because the reality of the situation is, if they're past the 50, Justin Tucker's a threat to hit a field goal.
Oh yeah. Yeah, good call.
He's a weapon. But I don't know, man. Maybe it's just blind optimism. Maybe I'm a homer. Even after seeing that just complete abomination of a football game last week, something just tells me that there's just a little bit of extra fire for Baltimore. There's a lot of chippy stuff in the first match or the last matchup of the regular season last year, and then we played them the following week. And I think that kind of, I don't know, I think there's just a different edge in that game.
Yeah.
I think that I'm giving away 2 tickets to that game tomorrow. Shout out my betting partner, BetJack. We've had a contest running on my Twitter all week. But even if you didn't enter, go to my Twitter, find out how to enter. If you didn't, but you're going to the game, I need you to go absolutely ape shit the entire time.
Yeah,
lose your goddamn mind from the moment the ball is kicked, except for when we're on offense. When we're on offense, shut the fuck up. I mean, be quiet. But I think I feel like there's just going to be such energy in Paycor, even coming off of a bad game. And I think it's going to be one of those days where everything just kind of seems to fall and come together.
I do too. Yeah, I do too. I want everybody loud too. If you catch me in a game and you have 2 beers in your hands, I will shotgun a beer with anybody in that stadium and get a little liquid and get a little loud for this team. So
I will bet.
I think we win. Let's before we close this out here, the show's typically going to be probably 45 minutes, but today we were trying to figure out a rhythm. We're not in practice. We're just a couple of regular dudes with a stupid camera in front of our face. But we're typically going to run 45 minutes. But before we run here, let's talk about our way we're doing, right? So
That's
if,
true. I forgot.
if,
Yeah, we're doing
if
that Sunday.
subscribe to the YouTube to Blue Collar Bengals. It's searchable now. Uh, we for a minute there it was not searchable, but we addressed that and fixed it. Subscribe to our YouTube now, okay? Follow both of us on Twitter or X if you're a Gen Z guy and you want to call it X. Us millennials are sticking with Twitter, okay? We're the old guys now, bro. It's bullshit. It's unbelievable.
It is.
In my 30s, and I might as well be 58, just like all those assholes were calling you 50 on the internet earlier. But I digress. Subscribe to the YouTube. Follow both of us on Twitter, okay? Pre-game, Drew and I are going to be at the pro shop. We're going to send a tweet out. It'll say something stupid and clever. Come find us with a photo of us at the pro shop. The first person to meet us in the pro shop and show us on their mobile device, iPad, laptop, whatever friggin' machine you bring into the stadium that you have subscribed to Blue Collar Bengals and follow both of us on Twitter, we're going to buy you a jersey on the spot. You get to pick it out. It's going to be one of these here, okay? It's not going to be a $300 tight sleeve joint. So let me just
yeah. Blue collar is a real thing, all right?
Don't get selfish on us, but you pick the player, you pick the jersey, you pick the color. We will march it to the counter, buy it for you right there, and you can wear it during the game. So.
Bonus points if you actually bring a laptop to the game.
Yeah, I'll hand you. If you show me a laptop, we'll buy you the jersey and I'll hand you a $20 bill. Oh, you got anything to close out, man? Just get us out of here. I started us. You close us out, brother.
Somebody said make a TikTok of this, and for whatever reason, that stuff kind of blows up. I'm old as fuck. I can't figure out how to use TikTok. I'm gonna try to clip the show up and put some previews out, but I don't know how to use fucking TikTok. I don't know.
Yeah, Jake, DM us. I know I was just saying we're not old, but apparently we are. I have a TikTok, but it's just so I can edit shitty videos.
Yeah. So we appreciate everybody that tuned in, all the comments. We try to get to all of them as much as we can. We appreciate you guys tuning in for the first episode. We'll be back on Monday. I can't remember what time Monday we decided on.
5 o'clock.
Is it 5 Monday? Okay. We'll be back Monday at 5 o'clock.
Thursday, 6. Yep.
I thought there was a switch in the schedule from 5 to later, but I don't know. It's been a long week. I can't remember.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll be back recapping the Baltimore game, having a good amount of fun, and then hopefully we get to meet somebody that was tuned in today and buy them a jersey because we do appreciate the support. I'm going to get this on all of the podcast platforms as well. It might take a day or two for them to approve us. For some reason, it seems like it takes that because I just didn't plan for this very well. I'm a fucking idiot.
Yeah, we're idiots.
That's just welcome to the shit show, as some might say. So we appreciate you guys tuning in. We will see you next week.
Hoo day, baby.
Hoo day.